Check it out. This video is about a YouTuber named JustPearlyThings and why she keeps copying the podcast Fresh and Fit. For those who don't know, JustPearlyThings has a show out of the United Kingdom which features a panel of different people talking about male and female relationship dynamics. I'll be honest, without certain regulars in the show, we might need to change the name from Just Pearly Things to Just Boring Things. And there are many reasons why Just Pearly Things is copying the podcast Fresh and Fit. However, this is the number one reason. Just Pearly Things. She is grifting into the red pill or RP space. And come on, let's keep it for real. She may not be from Milwaukee, but let's keep it a buck. Just Pearly Things, she thought maybe by being on the Fresh and Fit podcast one time, she could copy the sauce, she could copy the formula, and do her own version of the Fresh and Fit podcast. And that's a fact. And don't just take my word for it. In fact, there is someone named Rollo Tomasi, who is the individual to the right with the headband. He is accusing Just Pearly Things of reaching out to RP or red pill content creators like Rollo to teach her about the red pill in exchange for payment. Let's roll the clip.
Do to not be a hack.
Well, she can stop asking me to pay me to help her and help. She's hitting up a whole bunch of other people to.
So when Rollo says Rollo is referring to Just Pearly Things.
Actually school her and give her an education and being better at this. And it's like, I'm not going to do that. You shouldn't be coming to me or anybody else for that matter. You should be doing that yourself because you need to be a self-starter. You need to be an initiator. Again, the difference between someone like, say, Pearl and like Torsha takes an interest in it. She reads my essays from as far back.
Now, if what Rollo is saying is true about Just Pearly Things, she's got to be, as someone would say, down bad. Maybe the views in her channel is going down. Maybe the payment is not as big as before. But overall, it's like that song you may have heard a couple of years ago. It's possible that her entire channel overall is going down. Down, down. Maybe that her channel's going down. Down, down. I'm talking about Just Pearly Things. Because if you look at Just Pearly Things playboard chart, right? If you go down to the revenue section, she's maybe making around 68K. Maybe let's give her 70K for the benefit of the doubt. But it's really not that much if you think about it, because to do a show like Just Pearly Things, where she gets multiple people regularly for a panel to discuss, to produce the show, there's a lot of things that go into it, like the studio. Maybe she's living there, so it's like a studio for the podcast as well as studio for living. Maybe it's a separate studio just for filming. There's costs like recruiting, right? Maybe she needs to hire people to actually get people off the street onto her podcast and to produce the show. Maybe advertising costs, the people she's paying to do the thumbnails, maybe the little bit of the editing. All those things really come into the cost. So maybe the people she pays, they get to pocket the money, go home. A lot of times, because she's the owner of the podcast, she might have to reinvest that money into equipment, which is expensive, and things that may be more geared for growth rather than something for herself to make a little bit of extra money. And here's my take. I think Just Pearly Things, right? She's originally from the United States. She's probably doing this podcast in the UK or the United Kingdom, maybe because she's doing like a graduate program, maybe some kind of schooling in the UK. And she thought it would be cool and fun and maybe cute to do a little Fresh and Fit copycat, but just based in the UK because she happens to be in the UK. But here's the thing. I get being influenced by Fresh and Fit and being able to really be inspired by their grind, that you want to do your own thing, but it's not cute to copy word for word from the Fresh and Fit podcast. Come on, son. Because if you see the clips channel of Just Pearly Things, also known as Just Pearly Clips, or the username Just Pearly Clips 4304, LOL, did she just call herself a 304? Moving on. So what I'm trying to say here is that she's copying word for word from the Fresh and Fit podcast, and the evidence is in the clips channel. The evidence number one is here, right? So if you search this word into the channel, the clips channel, right? She has a lot of clips that says the world needs bullies to succeed. Let's be real. This is straight from one of the hosts at Fresh and Fit. He goes by the name of Myron, where he would say that bullying is good for you, right? That's one of his points. And she definitely got it from the Fresh and Fit podcast. So she thought maybe let's copy that point, put it in. So that's a word for word copy. Another thing I would like to point out, and this is from the clips, we're going to do a direct link this time instead of doing a search. So if you do a little paste and go, right, you see this, right? Modern women can't accept this as cheating. And the thumbnail is, you cheat by being on Instagram. Now, I don't know if she's pointing to herself that she is on Instagram and that is the topic of cheating, that she is cheating because she's on Instagram, or is it her? I don't know, but this is a common talking point from Myron's Playbook, who is one of the hosts on the Fresh and Fit podcast, in my opinion, more of the important host. He would use that as a talking point in one of his panels where he would say, oh, if you have an Instagram, you're cheating, right? So why does Myron do that? He's trying to trigger the people on the show, right? Usually the panel, to basically have conflict, usually between Myron versus the panel, maybe even within the panel, right? Someone in the panel saying, hey, your Instagram is like this and this, my Instagram is like that. And then that causes conflict, right? Because the thing is, this show, the Fresh and Fish show, the nexus at the whole core is conflict between either the hosts and the guests, between the guests themselves. It's conflict that, in my opinion, and I know people don't want to admit it, creates that guilty pleasure of watchable content. And just to keep it outside the podcast, let's just say you are maybe in real life on dating apps, Instagram is going to be the part of a lot of people's lives. So in my opinion is, if you can't accept someone being on Instagram, maybe just find somebody else, right? Because unfortunately, that's the modern day dating life, is people are going to be on Instagram, male or female, right? You know, a couple of years ago, you could say, I can get by with a phone number. Nowadays, I'm seeing more people, yo, what's your Insta? Let me hit you up on the gram. Let me slide in the DM. So that's considered almost like modern day Instagram. In conclusion, I think Just Pearly Things doing her show, it's definitely affecting her negatively, whether it's financially, possibly the views are going down, payment ain't as hot as before. Because if I were YouTube, they're probably putting her in the Andrew Tate category, not necessarily banning her off the platform, but putting her at a lower part of the algorithm. Plus, in Just Pearly Things' own channel, she posted a video where she's talking about there's a hate mob after her. They're usually people that went on the show, they were going in saying, all right, great, I like debating, I like talking. Afterwards, they're going after her. Why? She states it's because after the show, what she does, Just Pearly Things, she clips up the entire episode, maybe like 2 or 3 hours, into mini clips, and puts crazy titles like Modern Woman Gets Destroyed, or This Individual's Delusional. And people who are the subject of those clips, they start telling her, hey, I don't like the way you name those clips. Can you take the clips and stream down? And what Just Pearly Things says, and in response, she said, hey, if you want me to take those clips or streams down, you got to pay me X amount of dollars. Well, when you do that, you're going to make people even madder. So they're going to escalate the threat and saying, hey, I got brothers, I got friends. If they see you in the streets of London or anywhere in the UK, you're going to get hurt. So that's definitely affecting her. And here's the thing. A lot of people, they look at Fresh Fit and say, oh, it's cool, I can host a podcast, right? A 2-hour podcast is not 2 hours worth of work. There's a lot of work that happens before the podcast, right? Recruiting, being able to get people prepped, the prep work, whether it's mechanically, audio, or getting people in line, and even after the show, right? Dealing with the repercussions, the aftermath, the editing, being able to deal with the back end, the logistics that happen after the show. So there are a lot of things, a lot of effort, a lot of hours that go into a podcast like Fresh and Fit. And I think Just Pearly Things is starting to realize, like, yo, I might have bitten something more than I could chew, right? It's not something that is easy as a pearl in a clam or oyster. And let's address the star of the show. Her name is Auntie Jenny. She's been on several of Just Pearly Things episodes, and she really makes the episodes pop. If I were Auntie Jenny, I would probably confront Just Pearly Things, ask Just Pearly Things, hey, I need a cut of the podcast. Maybe give me a percentage, or better yet, give me a flat fee, a big flat fee. Because let's be honest, without Auntie Jenny, I don't think a lot of people would tune in for the show. Because let's be honest, people tune into the Just Pearly Things show, not because of Just Pearly Things, but because of the people she brings on. It's the panel, right? Essentially, Just Pearly Things is like the recruiter of random people in the United Kingdom, put them together. She has the platform, bam, they all talk it out. So if I were Auntie Jenny, you got to go get your bag. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, put a like and subscribe. Put a comment below if you got something to say about it. I'll see y'all next time.